The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back at it again. Thank you for joining us on The Local Show with Tom and Steve. We like to bring you new businesses and civic organizations that you might not be familiar with, or if you are familiar with them, you don't know their complete story. Maybe their backstory, how much family is involved, how long they've been in the area, things like that, so you can connect with them and then feel comfortable to do business with them.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It used to be everybody. Didn't you feel like you used to know everybody?
I did. Yeah,
and
you
somebody
could
said,
walk
I've
in
got a business, and you're like, what is it? Oh, I know. Or you guys are over there. Now, there's so many empty spots.
Right,
and,
right.
And we hear probably weekly from people like, hey, we like hearing for things we wouldn't know otherwise.
Yeah, yeah.
And people want to do business with people they know and trust. Or even if it's not for profits, they want to donate to people that they feel like they trust. Because every day on Facebook and everywhere else, somebody say, hey, give us money, give us money. Okay, well, yeah. So it's a fun thing.
So here's a guy who's dedicated his life to helping people, and that's John Tumino. How are you there, John?
Hey, gentlemen. Thank you for having me again.
John Tumino is the co-founder of In My Father's Kitchen. He's got a wonderful story, and he and his crew do a wonderful job here helping people. So why don't you start, how you got into this and, when it formed?
And thanks for bringing food. He doesn't bring food. He's a chef. He's a culinary thing. He doesn't bring anything.
You're not homeless. So.
Okay, that's right. All right, go ahead.
That's right. So basically, I had an experience with a gentleman on an off-ramp. This is in 2011, which kind of changed my life forever. I was going there, just going home, minding my own business, and I have this person standing there, and I see him, and I just felt like, for me as clergy, following my faith journey, felt that the Lord was kind of prompting me to kind of feed him.
Yeah.
So I go and get him a bunch of stuff. I come back, and he's still there, and the rubber meets the road, where I actually walk over to him and introduce myself to him, give him this meal, and tell him he's not invisible, and he unpacks his life story to me.
Yeah.
Kind of like you guys are asking me my story. That's what I did with him. And I hear all this craziness about trauma, sexual molestation as a young boy, now a drug addiction, now he's homeless.
Why was he willing to share that quickly, that boom?
Because I think it was that words spoken to him in dignity saying, hey man, I just want to let you know you're not invisible. And all of a sudden he just unloaded his life story because he felt like this guy sees me.
Right.
And that changed the trajectory of my life. I leave that encounter, go home, and Leanne and I leave our restaurant behind to my family.
So up to that point, you had a restaurant here locally.
Yeah, Asti Cafe on North
Which was very popular, if I recall.
Very successful, yep. And when I left there, I had a staff of 30, making money, very successful. And then I just feel like this leading to leave it behind, and I do that and started doing this out of my house, and here we are 13 years later.
Good golly, that's something. So all the people that are seen, what we would call panhandling, looking for money and stuff like that, and you reach out to them on a daily basis. Like, all of them around Syracuse?
Yeah, if they're in the city, me or my team, we know them. And it's folks holding cardboard signs, right? So they call it flying a flag. That's their flag.
See, I feel like nobody knows them sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, who is this person? And usually they have a little group. You can see them kind of working their little group. But it's so that's a big statement. You know all of them.
Yeah, unless there's someone new to the area that we're not familiar with. I mean, there's always a first contact where you're meeting someone for the first time. But if they're regulars out there, we know them.
Because I know that there's somebody up near Great Northern Mall too, and the off ramp there. I've seen a couple of people.
Up at 31.
Do you go up? Yeah, up at 31. Do you go that far?
No, we stay within the city proper. Okay. Rescue Mission kind of canvasses the outside county area, but I know who that person is as well, because some of them migrate out there and come back.
I see them every night.
Yeah. So the other thing is that everyone's got a story. Like, you guys are unpacking a story for me to share to the audience that's listening. We are that person for our friends outside. They share their story with us.
You were telling me about Jeremy. Tell me about Jeremy.
So Jeremy's a work in progress. So this gentleman, we've been working with him for 5 years. This is an awesome story.
5 years. Okay, stop. 5 years.
Yeah.
You've been working for
that's patience.
A fella that's been struggling and been on the fringe of everything for 5 years.
5 years.
Okay, keep going.
So addiction is this thing that's causing him to keep spinning his wheels. And he's always been sharing with us the fact that he wants to go to rehab, he wants to go to detox, but never would make the commitment. So finally we get him connected to a housing provider. So he just got his keys to his place just the other day. I'm going to be posting a video on our social media page of in his beautiful apartment. And he also said to our team, he's ready to make a move to go to detox. That's a big deal because he's been kind of saying it, but never following through. So tomorrow we're supposed to meet up with one of our team members to make the connection to go to detox and then go to rehab. Mm-hmm. If that happens, I mean, he's indoors now, so he's not outside, he's inside. If he starts to navigate this addiction issue with addiction and overcomes that, I mean, this could be a real wonderful story that could really unpack. But my saying that is this, the process. It's never a quick fix. It's usually a journey, right? Just think of your own life when you're dealing with maybe an eating habit or medical stuff. It's a process. You have to go through the whole journey of the thing. And it's the same way with our friends outside. We don't know when their transformational moment's going to happen. We just want to be standing there when they finally say, I'm ready. And that just happened. So it took 5 years.
So how many people have you helped that you can like count? I don't know if you count that said, okay, at 5 years, I'm like, after 5 minutes, I'm like, come on, Buttercup, let's go. You're killing yourself. I'd be like, but.
Yes. So 371 people have come indoors since we started doing this that we've helped into housing, like Jeremy. So he'll be 372. But what is success? Success looks, it might be coming indoors. It might be going to a rehab. It might be getting connected to a mental health provider. It might be reconnected to your family. So success looks different. It's not like a cookie cutter system. Yeah. It's person centered, right? And then for me, these little wins, like him getting indoors is a great win. And now the real win will start to happen because he's in a safe environment. He could go to rehab now and have a landing spot.
Right.
Or if you're outside and you go to rehab, where do you go back to? Outside?
But people go to rehab all the time.
Yeah.
So, but that's a big deal because, someone that maybe has a job or has got a DWI, okay, the judge said I had to go to rehab or whatever. But this is 5 years. 5 years.
This could be transformational.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing I learned in this realm. This is a new realm for me of over 13 years. I'm not a social worker.
Right.
Relapse is part of recovery. So when you're in recovery, there is bumps in the road, right? It's how quick can you get back up once you stumble, right? Yes. That's the thing. For me, being indoors for Jeremy now, if he does go tomorrow, and we were believing he makes it, when he gets out of there in 28 days, or if he goes to a 3-month program, he has a place to go to with a bed. Yeah. If you're outdoors, the chances of you making that commitment doesn't happen because where do you land back into? Under a bridge?
Right. And then what are you going to do? You're going to medicate it because your life's terrible.
Right. Exactly.
Tell us about how you help women who are homeless.
Yeah, so the women that are outdoors, we have a female care manager, Alicia, that was on the radio here with me before in the past. And we have a home for women coming out of trafficking, sex trafficking, because a lot of the women on the streets will cross over to trafficking, whether themselves or they're being trafficked. So Leanne, my wife, runs a house called Life House that we have. And it helps women come off the streets who are connected to the trafficking court here in Syracuse, and we help them navigate their life back on track through a 9-month program, living in a house that we have.
And you also have medical services for outreach as well, right?
Yeah, Dr. Lehman from upstate, we collaborate with him with House Calls for the Homeless. He comes out with us and brings medical services.
So let me say something you might say. If you see folks, your heart is there, don't give them money. If you want to give them food or water, do that.
Correct.
Because you're not helping their addiction. And if folks want to get involved in volunteer, in giving money or whatever it is, in myfatherskitchen.org.
Correct.
And they can go there. And by the way, you make some amazing sauce.
Yes.
Which is called
Taste and See pasta sauce. It's the sauce that saves.
And that's great. That is amazing. So you can buy that at Wegmans and some other places.
Correct.
Too. All right. Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
John, wonderful person. Have a great rest of the day. Okay, buddy?
Thank you, guys.
All right. Amanda didn't. Why do I keep thinking this is pronounced differently? It's Amanda Delaney. It's very simple, Tom. Amanda Delaney is the production manager at Delaney Farms. She's the 5th generation, and she is part of Onondaga Grown. Coming up next on The Local Show.